Life is brought to you by Westmark Credit Union, helping Idaho grow for over 60 years. Westmark Credit Union, everything you need.
Veterans Day. This week we paid tribute to all those who have served our country in the military.
For one Boise woman and her family, this November 11th meant a little more because it was the first time in 75 years they knew their veteran was coming home.
Our Brian Holmes explains in tonight's Idaho Life.
A service uniform stride to a front door usually carries with it the weight of regret that those on the other side don't want to hear. It's a march the U.S. Marines made more than 24,000 times during World War II. A father, a son, a brother, erased from families and neighborhoods all across the country. Ronhurst, Philadelphia was no different.
Yeah, it was early in the morning when he left. It was early in the morning.
Jean Roman,
And
just 12 at the time, remembers when her brother Mike, nearly 19,
that was it.
left home to become Private First Class Michael L. Salerno, U.S. Marine Corps. It was February 1943.
We didn't see him anymore.
In a matter of months, Mike was sent west to the war in the Pacific. His first battle came in what is considered the toughest in Marine Corps history, the Battle of Tarawa, a thin strip of land with an airstrip nearly 5,000 miles from the coast of California. The U.S. attacked on November 20th, 1943, with Salerno's K Company hitting Red Beach 1. But the Japanese hit back, and in the span of 76 hours, the Marines lost 1,100 men, one of which was PFC Salerno.
This was the first one.
A telegram told the family about a month later.
We deeply regret to inform you that your son, Private First Class Michael L. Salerno, United States Marine, is missing in action.
The Marines accomplished their mission, but after the war, only 532 of those killed on Tarawa were recovered. They identified all but 94 of those.
The Purple Heart, yeah.
Sadly, Salerno was one of those 94. Remains without a name.
It's just so important to Grandma, you know, in reading these, it's just...
And for 75 years, Mike remained missing to his family.
real. It's not like it never was, but it's just reality now. It's just not, I wonder what, or I wonder where.
That wonder went away 2 months ago. A DNA sample sent in 2 years ago matched a Marine buried in Hawaii's National Memorial Cemetery.
I cried. I screamed, I cried, I called everybody up that I knew. Yeah.
On September 27th, remains known as X267 were finally identified as Michael Salerno.
The National Memorial Cemetery called the Punch Bowl. Mm-hmm. Have you been there?
Yeah.
That's where your brother's been.
I didn't even know he was there.
He's been there since 1949.
Oh, yeah.
Which is how Hattie Johnson, head of the Marine Corps Casualty Office in Quantico, Virginia, found herself at Jean's kitchen table in Boise.
These are all the awards that PFC Salerno received.
In the same home where her kids and grandkids, for the past 4 decades, would learn of their uncle through stories.
So you ready? Mm-hmm. So these are his skeletal remains.
They would now learn of his demise.
He was killed by blast injuries.
During a debriefing.
What you see in red is missing. So all of this is missing.
An explosion blew away most of his body.
Not too much of me.
A revelation almost impossible for Jean to imagine. To call it closure seems cliché. However, for Jean and her family, when PFC Michael Salerno died that day in battle,
he was just a kid. He was just a kid.
Their fight to bring him home finally finished after 75 years.
I'm proud of him, though. But I wish he was here.
At least they'll know where he'll be from now on.
We always wanted to bring him home. We always did.
Brian Holmes.
We're finally going to do it.
Idaho's News Channel 7.
Jean says they plan to bury her brother Mike in April next to their mom and dad in a family plot just outside of Philadelphia.
78,000 Americans are still missing from World War II. They will only recover and identify about 30,000 of those.
75 years and still so emotional for that family. But as Brian said, closure at last. Bittersweet.
Yeah, and 19 years old, 19 years old, and gave his all for our country.
Amazing.